Good afternoon. I'm Jim Arrington. I'm the mayor of LaGrange, and our hearts are hurting today. On behalf of the entire city of LaGrange, I want to express our deepest condolences to the family of Javion Dukes, whose life was tragically taken far too soon. We're also lifting up other young victims of this senseless violence. Montija Hand, Aja Pruitt, Jadarius Blackman, Shakayla Cofield, Titus Dunlap, and Yana Leonard, who are recovering from their injuries. We continue to pray for their healing, for their families, and for everyone impacted by this devastating event. This should never have happened. The violence we witnessed is absolutely senseless. It has shaken our community, and it must stop. We need your help. The LaGrange Police Department is working tirelessly to solve this crime and to bring those responsible to justice. But we cannot do it alone. If you were at the party, or if anyone you know was at the party, no matter how small you think it may be, it could make a difference of any information you may have. You can contact us directly by calling 911, or you can submit information anonymously using TIP 411 system. Simply text the keyword LaGrange and your message to 847-411. And then text us your information. You can even upload videos, pictures, and it's all anonymous. Please, if you know something, say something. Now's the time to come together as a community to stand against this violence. And at this time, I'd like to invite Major Dale Strickland to share what happened and give us the latest on the investigation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I want to echo on behalf of the LaGrange Police Department and Chief Ivash our condolences to the families that were affected by the senseless violence. I want to give you a summary of what occurred that afternoon. I know that there's a lot of information that's being passed around between individuals. I want to give you some idea of exactly what took place. Our officers first began responding to calls for service of a large party out in the Troup County area off of Cameron Mill Road. There was a party that was taking place at one of our lake accesses there. The sheriff's office responded there to address some complaints of that party or relating to the party, and officers with our police department who were working a crime suppression detail already responded to assist them in ensuring that resolved or was resolved peacefully. As our officers responded to that area, the group began to break up. There were in excess of 100 people, I'm told, there. That group began to break up and left the area. Those individuals left the area and came toward the city of LaGrange, so our officers knew that we would likely have different spots or areas here in town that we needed to be watching out for based on this large crowd breaking up there and coming into town. Within 30 minutes, that was in fact the case. The officers then responded to 518 North Greenwood Street, which is the Granger Park. It's a big parking lot there in front of the high school where people normally congregate. We noticed almost immediately that parts of the group that left the lake had come there and began congregating. Our officers met with some of those individuals there, announced that the parking lot would be closing and that folks need to move on, and their requests were met with compliant individuals. They left the area and dispersed. Our officers, again, about 30 minutes later, received another call for service, or actually they were working and received a call for service for loud music at 300 Commerce Avenue. That's the Remy apartment complex there on Commerce Avenue. They responded to that area, again, seeing about 50 individuals there that they believe were from that party, that original party, and because of the complaints of loud music, they were asked again to move along, not to congregate there, as many of them there were not tenants. We again met compliance from the individuals. They moved from that location. Our officers continued patrol. At about 24 hours or 10-24 hours, we received another call for service at the Jones Street Park on Jones Street, where over 50 individuals had again congregated in that area. Our officers again responded to the area. They met with individuals there, and at that time, I am told that I guess the individuals at that point knew that the officers were there to ask them to leave the area or remain quiet, and when they pulled up, these individuals actually left the area. Our officers continued to patrol throughout the night, and at about midnight or 9 minutes after midnight, the officers working the zone on Seminary Street actually went to Seminary Street, and they began observing large numbers of cars begin to congregate around Hill Street and Seminary. The officers actually went out and explained to the individuals that they were blocking Seminary Street and that we needed to make sure that remained open so that emergency vehicles could get up and down the road. They also met with the homeowner there at 105 Seminary Street and discussed with them the issues with loud parties, and got agreement that they would work to ensure that everybody remained in the backyard, that everybody remained quiet, and we immediately began gaining compliance with parking. The people there at the party came out, started moving their vehicles over to one side of the street so that we could pass up and down the street. The officers knew that it was a large party. However, everything seemed to be very contained, no significant issues. There were a couple of individuals that were observed drinking alcohol. The officers addressed them and made sure that they understood that they could not walk up and down the street drinking alcohol. Those individuals complied and went to the backyard of that resident, and our officers, again, after being there for some time, left the area. They remained in that general vicinity knowing that it was a larger party, not unlike some other nights that we have here in the spring or summertime in LaGrange, where folks congregate and enjoy one another and having parties in town. They just remained in the area to be vigilant, to make sure there weren't any issues. Within 3 minutes of the officers leaving, the officer that was within a couple of blocks reported to 911 hearing shots being fired in that area. He did not know necessarily that they were coming from Seminary Street, but knew it was in that vicinity. Almost immediately, the 911 calls started coming into the dispatch center, letting us know that a shooting had occurred and individuals had been shot. We had officers that immediately responded to the scene and began rendering aid. We contacted emergency services, the fire department, and EMS, who also responded and started providing immediate aid. We had as many as 15 officers working that night. That is at least 5 to 7 more officers than we normally work, as we were running a crime suppression unit to address these type deals. That's why they were there. They were in the vicinity. They heard what was going on. There was no way for our officers to predict that there would be a shooting there. They were there trying to ensure that folks had a good time, but did not commit crimes. Our officers, again, responded appropriately. They rendered aid. We got individuals to the hospital as quick as we could. We even had officers that transported people to the hospital so that they could get quick aid. Our detectives, a team of detectives, half of our detective division, I would say, was out almost immediately and began investigating, and almost our entire detective unit remains vigilant in investigating that. Just as the mayor said, we are looking for help from the community to identify the individuals responsible so that we can work to hold them accountable. We're asking for anybody with information to call us. Again, if you saw something, no matter how small, please let us know. We can work with a little bit of information and turn it into something that is very productive. So again, thank you guys for coming, and again, for the community members, we are sorry for what happened. We are shocked. We want to make sure that we locate these individuals and hold them accountable. Again, thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Major Strickland. I also want to inform the community on actions that the mayor and the council has taken just recently. I hear a lot of things on Facebook and social media that we're not doing anything, we need to do more. I agree, we could always do more and we can always do better. But some of the things that this council behind me has approved in the recent times has been a purchase of a drone system that is located or will be located on top of the police department roof, and it can be employed by 911 calls and can be anywhere in the city within about 3 minutes. It has tag readers, it has video, it has still photos, so it is going to be very helpful when we get that installed and get the officers trained to operate it. We have purchased the crime scene scanner. It frees up the amount of officers it takes to process a crime scene so that we can continue to have officers on duty that are patrolling instead of working a crime scene. We have persisted that the police department keep the maximum number of officers patrolling at all times. We have increased starting salaries to fill vacant positions. We are utilizing school resource officers in the normal shifts to add more available officers during the summer. We have added crime suppression detail to the weekly rotation, and we have also got an allotment of more cameras in this SPLOST that just started in 2025. So there will be more cameras going up. We already have a numerous amount of cameras that at our major intersections and at locations that are high traffic areas. Like I said, we've increased the salaries and the cameras. With all this, all the things that we've added, all the things that we've done, it's obvious that we cannot police our way out of this situation, this violence. We're going to need the families to be involved. We're going to need the churches involved. We're going to need the community involved. I ask each of you to be in prayer for our community and these victims, along with their families. Again, I urge anyone with information to contact our police department, our TIPS 411, and share it with us so that we can solve this horrible crime. To the people of LaGrange, I'm asking you to come together. We must stand united in the face of this tragedy. We must support these families. We must help our police solve this crime, and we must do everything in our power to prevent future violence in our city. LaGrange is a community that cares. I know we can come together and be stronger if we stand together. Thank y'all.
Maybe quick, any idea on the motive?
No, sir. We're still working through that. This investigation is brand new. We're still actively working. The entire team is working to identify the people responsible and a motive for the crime.
Is this the first time that parties like this have happened in the city where they've started in one location and moved to multiple locations?
No, sir. This is not an uncommon for members of our city to move from one spot to another to enjoy an afternoon. Like I said, they started at the lake. These guys talk to one another often through social media, where one or two may have been at the party and another one was going on in town. They can share that information through social media, and a party get bigger than what its intent was just by, folks saying, hey, we're having a good time over here, come visit with us.
Can you tell if this was gang related at all?
I cannot, no, sir.
Do you have the rough estimate of the ages of the victims, youngest to oldest?
Yes, sir. The youngest currently that we know of is 16. The oldest is somewhere 20 or 21 years old.
Did any of these victims shoot back at who was shooting at them?
There's not any evidence of that, no, ma'am.
Is there a reason to believe there were multiple gunmen or shooters?
That's information I don't have at this time and I couldn't share.
Can you tell how many shots were fired?
I can tell that there were multiple shots. I can't tell you exactly how many at this time.
Is the police going to provide the media with any of the crime scene?
Sir?
Do y'all have surveillance video or body cam video?
We do, but this is an active case, so we won't release any of that information until this case is resolved.
Do you have an update on the conditions of the 6 victims? Are they expected to be okay and recover?
I know that one of the victims still is in critical condition. There are other ones that I know that are actually expected to recover. I don't have the specific details on that right now. We can get that information to you guys.
Was the homeowner there for the party or that was just their home and they showed up?
Both. That was the homeowner was there. It was a party that they were involved in. It was both.
You said the homeowner spoke to police before they left. Is there any reason to believe they could face charges out of this?
It does not appear so at this time.
It's summer, kids are going to be out, college students are back home. What's your message to them who want to partake in parties like this?
We want them to enjoy one another. We want them to enjoy being with one another. We want them to be responsible and do that without, if there's a problem, if there's conflict, call 911, have the officers come and assist with conflict.
One more question, and we're done.
Troup County is the only people investigating, or are you guys going to bring in other resources to help with this?
It depends on how that investigation goes. We always use other resources, such as with doing, I guess you would say, reviews of the evidence through the GBI and also through the ATF. We use them often.
Right now you haven't called in?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.